Hello, everyone. I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to get on, but I wanted to welcome you guys to this live question and answer stream. I do have some questions already that have been asked of me that I will be answering. But I want to encourage you guys to use the chat area to type in any questions that you might have. And you can just send those over to me, and I will write them down and make sure to add them to my live stream today. So welcome to those people who have already gone on. I'm going to wait a little bit here. How is everyone doing? How has your Thanksgiving been? How has 2020 been? Oh my goodness, what a year, huh? Lots of opportunities to use our Zoom and maybe even our phone recorders and photos if we have access to that, to work on our posture and to videotape ourselves while we're doing exercises or stretches and just notice, am I in my 3-lock mountain? Am I making sure to practice that throat lock? Do I know what my postural discrepancies are? And just using this really odd 2020 time to make sure to become more aware of your body. So there's Linda. Hello. How are you doing? Good morning to you. How long can I lean my shoulder on the tennis ball against the wall each time? Oh, that's a really, really great question. Really great question. So for those of you who don't know about the tennis ball, the acupoint release technique, I created that well over 20 years ago. Around 1994, I started implementing pressure points, acupressure points, using what's called the knobble. And eventually, when I moved to using acupressure, when I went to acupressure training, I started using a tennis ball on the acupressure points and was using that on chronic pain that I had from an injury that ended up in a 19% disability rating on my back. So it was really, really helpful for me to utilize the tennis ball on acupressure points that I was not able to really access, and that a lot of massage therapists actually did not know how to responsibly work on without like re-injuring me or exacerbating symptoms. So having the tennis ball and knowing acupressure points and knowing your body can really, really help you to decrease your pain, manage aging issues and symptoms that come up, and other things that come up like headaches, TMJ. I have a playlist for the acupoint release technique that you guys can view at your leisure. So I will put a link down for that for you. Let me put a note down, link here. So you can use the tennis ball and apply pressure, I would say for, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I have been known to sleep on the tennis ball, and you move throughout the night. So if you're on the tennis ball on your shoulder, you might be there for 10 minutes. You might be there for 20 minutes. It just really depends on your body's comfort level. So if you're rolling on the tennis ball on the floor, that's going to increase the pressure because you are adding your body weight to it. And so you will adjust. You'll move in and out of applying pressure to that point. But you should be able to get some good relief on that point after about 3 to 5 minutes. So if you're really, really locked up in an acupressure point, you may need to do it a number of times over a period of time. So say you have a chronic pain issue, and I have a question from somebody about chronic pain. So I'll be addressing that a little bit later. And I do have a playlist for chronic pain sufferers, so you can check that out. But ideally, we want to be on the tennis ball with some kind of regularity so that it's opening up our own points. We want to make sure that we're, working on our own body and maintaining our own wellness. Absolutely. So really good question, Linda. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, we're in 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions. If you guys have more questions, make sure to write them out in the chat area. So one of the questions that I had is, which posture corrector do you think is best? So there are a lot of posture correctors out there, and I have not tried them all for sure. So to be fair, I haven't tried them all. I do know what to look for, though, when I'm looking at different posture correctors. I'm really picky about material. I'm really picky about comfort. I'm thinking about the scapula and the shoulders and how the posture corrector is pulling those shoulders back to help to correct or to counter at least the forward shoulder or the kyphosis, that roundedness in that upper back. So I'm looking at, what is the material? What's the comfort level? Does it provide enough space for the shoulder blades to be pulled back? Or is it creating more pressure on the shoulder blades to actually push the shoulders forward? So these are the kinds of things that I am considering when I am looking at posture correctors. And I do have a video that you guys can check out called The Anatomy of the Perfect Posture Corrector. And I will leave that link in the description box down below for you guys so that you can access that. But in my reviewing different posture correctors, I did find one that did fit my criteria, and that is the Girari. I used this posture corrector for 30 days, and just to really give it some time. And I even slept in this. I wanted to make sure that it was going to be something that was not going to create more problems for me or other people. This is not something that I would hands down recommend that you sleep in. I do have a product review video on this posture corrector, so you're really going to want to watch that for sure, because I have a lot of information and practical tips on wearing a posture corrector. But I did like this one a lot. It's something that I have worn from time to time after I did the review, and I have still found it to be effective. So I would encourage you guys to check this one out if you are in the market. I will have the link down below for you if you want it. I did get it on Amazon, but make sure to check out those videos, and I will have that link for you as well so that you can check out the product review. The 3-point Mukaram, 3-point rule was great. Tell me what you mean by that, because I don't know what the 3-point rule was. But I would love to understand what you mean. Thank you for participating. Really appreciate it. And then Linda said, are you writing a book about all your experiences with your health. Okay. Oh, the Three Lock Mountain. Yes. Okay. Good, good, good. No, I'm not writing a book. Maybe at some point. Um, I don't have anywhere where you can get these shirts right now, but maybe sometime in the future. The Three Lock Mountain, wonderful. Yes, the Three Lock Mountain is the best corrective posture exercise and stretch that you can do to correct your posture. It's safe for everyone. It's not going to add or take away. It maintains that neutral spine. It corrects by specifically honing in on each of the areas along that kinetic chain, at least from the pelvis up, your hips up, to really make the corrections that a lot of people end up having postural dysfunctions in. It's not going to correct postural discrepancies in your feet or your ankles or your knees and the hips in particular, but it is really going to keep you neutral, and it's going to counter those postural discrepancies and dysfunctions that have been created and long standing in this whole upper area, basically from the hips up. Okay. So yeah, the Three Lock Mountain is still, for me, I practice it 24/7. It really is, I really did luck out when I put that together. So it's what I teach in all my classes. So you guys know I have weekly classes, and it really does make a difference. And so I do that with all the stretching and all the exercises. So I'm gonna mess up your name, but it's Amog Gupta. Does sleeping position affect posture? So I have videos for that. Thank you so much for your question. I do have videos for sleeping. I have a sleeping playlist specifically showing the different postures that you need to be in while you're sleeping in the different positions. If you think about sleeping for 6 to 8 hours in a particular posture, okay, and through the night you are moving around or not, so you may be staying in that one position for an extended period of time. Say, for example, you have your head up on a pillow, your head is forward, your neck is forward, or your head is like this and it's pushing the cervical spine in a really odd position, and you're sleeping like that. Tell me, do you think that it's going to train your muscles to hold that position? I would argue that it might. So I would say that our sleeping postures are pretty important. So we want to make sure that we're using the pillows responsibly, that we're sleeping on a good surface. I think sleeping is super, super important because we're oftentimes in that bed and in that sleeping posture for an extended period of time. I really do believe that our sleeping posture affects our overall posture. Really, really good question. Thank you so much, Makaram. I really, really appreciate it. Do I have a steady position video? I don't. Right now, I don't have a steady position video. I think that's really, really good. A good suggestion. I do have a video on a product review. Hold on just for a second. I have a video on a product. This is the product. It holds a phone, and it also holds maybe like a switch or a couple of other things. Specifically in that video, not just because of the product, but specifically in that video, I show how your body should be looking straight ahead. And when you see that video, you want to be studying in that position. But what I would probably suggest too is that when you're studying, because I have a number of students for I have a number of clients and students who are students, and they study for a long time, and their body just is in pain. They're really uncomfortable. So one tip, and I'll put it in the study video as well, but one tip that you want to be making sure to practice is to move around regularly. So you might sit in a regular chair. You might stand when you're studying. Then you might be on the floor. You might be on a lower chair. Then you might practice studying while you're doing a little bit of stretching on the floor, or you might stretch while you're standing. So you want to make sure that you're moving in and out of different positions if you are studying for an extended period of time. Super, super important. And I think that that is a great question. Let me know if you have any other questions about studying, okay, and posture. Study posture. Yeah, that's right. I think I got that. I always feel my traps tight after I wake up. That might be because if you're sleeping, I would want to know, are you sleeping on your side? Because if you're sleeping on your side, you may be sleeping like this or like this. Or, if you have a pillow like this and the shoulders may be up, okay? So if you're doing that, your shoulders are raising and you may be tightening up between the shoulders and the neck. So one of the things that you can do is make sure to have a pillow in front of you and that you're holding on to the pillow and that the pillow that your head is resting on is in between your chin or your jaw and your shoulder. And what that does is that it helps the shoulder to relax. And if your other arm, your top arm, is over a pillow, then that's going to help this to relax as well as under here where your rotators are. Does that make sense? The videos that I have on sleeping and posture, they show you how to place the pillows and what kind of pillows you can actually get. I have links for those particular pillows as well so that you don't have to try and spend a lot of time searching. And then you can look at those pillows and see, oh, that's what she's talking about. She's talking about a Jackson roll, or she's talking about this kind of a pillow for the head, and you can then look in your area to see if they have something like that available, or you can, order that online at Amazon. While preparing for exam continuously for around 8 to 12 hours. Yeah. I have other students, clients and students who are prepping for their final exams and for the SAT. And it is pretty grueling how many hours you have to prep for your exam. Yeah, I know. So definitely move around. Don't stay in the same position. When we stay in the same position for an extended period of time, it really does train our muscles. So you have to try and remember, no matter what posture you're in, you are going to be training your muscles in that position. So it's like you're working out. Just because you're sitting doesn't mean you're not exercising your muscles in some way. If you're collapsed and slumping, you are exercising your muscles in that position. And then those muscles attach to your structure, your spine, your hips, your pelvis, the shoulders, your neck, and the muscles form your structure. They move your structure and they hold it in that position. So you have to think to yourself, how do I want my spine? How do I want my shoulders? Do I want my shoulders to be rounded forward? No, I don't. Okay, so then I need to use my muscles and exercise them so that they control my structure. So that's why the 3-lock mountain is so important. But there are movements that you can do throughout the day while you're studying or while you're working. It's like a moving mountain. So I do, for example, in my classes, I teach what's called spinal flexing. And spinal flexing is a phenomenal movement for the spine to help to just keep it flexible, keep it adaptable, and make sure that the energy doesn't get stagnant. It's very, very, very important. We want to stay nice and fluid. So I hope that that is helpful. Just make sure that you're moving. And remember, if you want to participate in any of my classes, Monday through Friday, I have a schedule on my website, and the first class is free. Okay. So just something for you guys to consider. Thank you so much. Can you possibly make a video on sitting and working? I will do that. Working. Okay. Yeah, that's another one too. You know, how do we sit and work, maintain good posture, but also not get like stiff and tired, because it's exhausting. We're trying to think about our work, but we also need to stay in good posture, but then it's just tiring. It's exhausting to always be exercising our muscles throughout the day until our body adapts to that position. It just makes it really difficult. And if you don't have a comfortable chair, you know, it's just always a battle. So I do get it. But I think that that's a very, very good suggestion to do a video on. So I will, and thank you very much for the question. Yeah. Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much, Makaram. Macbeth says, I sent my question by email. Not sure if you received it. Yes, I did receive that. And that is one of my 10 questions that I wanted to spend time on. So I will be doing that. So definitely stay tuned. TMJ, I've had TMJ before, and I've worked with a lot of people who have had TMJ, and it is totally reversible. You can totally move through it. I no longer have TMJ. My daughter was starting to get TMJ when she was little, and one of the quick things that I taught her was to stick her tongue in between her teeth, and that helped to stop her from clenching and grinding. And then she also would massage here on the either side of her jaw. This is like when she was 5 and 6 years old. She was grinding and clenching her jaw and started to get TMJ, and I completely reversed that. So that's, you know, she was young at that point. When we're a little bit older and we've had TMJ for an extended period of time, there are other things that we need to do. But I do definitely have points that I wanted to address with you. She says, no pain, but can't put my teeth together, and eating is challenging. Oh gosh. Yeah. So that's been going on for a while for you. I'm so sorry. We really, really need to work to open this whole jaw area. And there are a few things that I can really recommend. So let me get to that in a couple of seconds. Hold on here. I can stretch the tendons manually and restore my bite, but I'm wondering if this will self-correct over time. So yes, it will self-correct over time. There are a number of pieces that we have to take into consideration when we have any kind of a chronic issue. And of course, there's age, there's stress, there's other conditions that we have to consider. Posture does impact other issues that we have. Your sleep. You know, how are you sleeping? A lot of people grind and clench when they're sleeping. So we have to take that into consideration. If you are a grinder when you are sleeping, you have to be able to train yourself when you're sleeping. And you can do that. You can wake yourself up and you can implement specific self-acupressure techniques to counter that while you're sleeping. If you are clenching and grinding for, you know, even an hour during your 6 to 8 hours rest time, that's a lot of time for you to be consistently exercising this area of your body. Does that make sense? So if you are countering that with counter pain strategies, which is something that I came up with, and I have videos on this. I have one particular video called Turning the Tables on Chronic Pain. I did my master's thesis on this. If you spend more time countering the issue than the issue is present, you are eventually going to change that. It's going to take time, especially if you don't have like Western medicine, injections or medications, different things like a surgery. If you don't have those kinds of things and you go strictly holistic, it's going to take a little bit longer because you're really working on addressing the body's natural self-curative abilities. And depending upon how much you've abused your body will depend upon how long it's going to take you to shift that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But there were a number of things, actually, since you are here already, my dear, I'm going to answer your question. I had it way back here. So I would want to know what kinds of posture exercises you were doing, because you said that you do a bunch of posture exercises and other exercises, and I would want to know what those are, because it could actually be making your condition worse, and I want to make sure that that's not the case. I would want to know what kind of other treatments you're getting. Are you getting chiropractic, craniosacral? Are you getting massage? Do you know what the mandible release technique is? Are you doing self-acupressure? So I would want to know those kinds of things. I'd want to know about your stressors, your sleep, your diet, exercise, how 2020 has impacted you. And then from there, I would have you prioritizing those solutions from most important and easiest to less important and more difficult to implement. That way you will have successful experiences, and that will encourage you to do the things that you need to be implementing more. And then that's going to set you up to have more successes. So an example would be a mandible alignment movement during your posture exercises, or using the tennis ball on acupressure points around the jaw. And then just looking at other stressors and physical issues that need to be considered. So hopefully those things will be helpful for you. If you have other questions, do let me know. I'm going to put the that TMJ video in the link for you so that you can check that out. And thank you so much for sending me that question. That was a super awesome question. I know a lot of people really suffer with the TMJ and also migraines and headaches. You're very welcome, Mukaram. I really appreciate your participation. So, Dr. Strange is asking a personal question about me being trans. And no, I'm not. I am a female 150% and loving it. So thank you for the question, Dr. Strange. I encourage you to practice the 3-lock mountain 24/7, no matter whether you are male, female, trans, whatever you are. Practice the 3-lock mountain, because it is the best posture exercise and stretch that you can do to correct your posture, no matter what your orientation is. And Macbeth, wonderful. Okay, so you've done all of that. I should just book an appointment. Yeah. Okay, good. I'd love to see you in a class. Yeah, just definitely if you email me the days that you would like to participate in the class, just remember the time zone. So I'm on California time. And so that's Pacific daylight time or Pacific Standard Time, California time. So just remember that. I had somebody from the Philippines who wanted to take a class, but they are actually like, a day ahead. So my Friday 11 o'clock class is their Saturday 3 a.m. So that's kind of tough. And perhaps in the future, I will consider that and try and figure out how I can support people on both locally and abroad to participate in classes. So thank you for that. And Makaram, okay, yeah, I am working on videos right now. I actually have like 15 videos that I am currently working on. So I will try to figure out how I can put that one in the mix. I am looking at right now with the 15 videos that I'm working on. That's going to put me out a number of weeks. But if I can try and plug that one in, do you mind if I use your name for like the Q&A? And then that way I'm trying to figure out how I can make sure to send that to you. Have you subscribed and clicked on that notification bell? ? I want to make sure and put your name down here. If you subscribe and click the notification bell on my channel, you will have a notification sent directly to you so that you can so that you'll be notified when I upload my new videos. So make sure that you have done that. And let me know if I can, Makaram, let me know if I can actually like do a shout out for you when I do that video. Okay. And maybe even email me your email address and then I can directly send you that video. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, an exercise ball for the office chair. Okay. Yeah. So that's really, really great. Hold on just for a second. Let me get my stability ball. Okay. So you can use different chairs. A stability ball is a little bit different from an exercise, one of the exercise balls. But I think that Macbeth may be talking about an actual stability ball. Okay. I do have this one on my website. The stability ball, if I go from the side, depending upon how much you have blown it up, and depending upon if you're sitting way back on it or if you're sitting forward, I have something in my pocket, will determine how you are staying in your 3-lock mountain. Okay. So if I'm really forward like this, am I on my 3-lock mountain? Probably not. I have a little bit too much lordosis in my lumbar spine, so I have to be careful about that. You will want to make sure that you are back just enough, and that's going to set the hips just right. We do want to have a little bit of an angle here on the pelvis, but we don't want to be all the way down here because then it's really going to push us too much in that lordotic position. Does that make sense? We always want to have a little bit of an arch on the spine, on that low back, a little bit of a curve, but we don't want our tummy to then be totally forward. Okay. So this is different from this. Pelvic lock, lordotic spine. Pelvic lock, lordotic spine. Okay. So really, really make sure you got to be careful with the ball. Not everybody is going to be able to control that. Remember, with the stability ball, you are on a unstable surface. Okay, it's unstable. It's not just totally solid. So it's kind of moving. And if you don't have a really good feel for your body and your kinetic chain and your three-lock mountain, and you don't have a mirror directly to the side of you so that you can check yourself, that might not be the best. And I just had a 10-week posture program, and one particular student, she just really was not aware of her body position. She thought she was perfectly straight. And through the program, we realized she was leaning to one side. We realized she was a little bit too forward, even though she looked perfectly straight. So, Macbeth, make sure you have a mirror next to you to check your three-lock mountain. Use your phone to take a photo of yourself. When we work together in the future, I'm definitely going to have you taking photos and sending them to me and taking videos so that I'm aware of what you're looking like and making sure that you then also have that awareness of what I see. So that's a really, really big help. She found that having so you see I have a grid behind me. She found that putting tape straight down and then straight across behind her was helpful for her eyes when she was both at work. Of course, we're working at home a lot, right? So we can use our wall behind us, or we can use a picture frame. We can use just other things, a mirror behind us, to then notice, are my shoulders straight across? Am I straight up and down? Is my head a little bit to the left? Is my ear closer down? You can notice how your body is, if you're rotated. These kinds of things are really, really, really important to think about. And having that stability ball and that unstable surface is something that can challenge some people. It stabilizes. Okay, so I see. So Macbeth has the stability ball that has a donut where it actually rests on. So it is more of a stable surface. So it's not a free rolling stability ball. It's one that actually sits in a donut and is more stable. So that's a little bit different. That's really, really good. I've seen those as well. So you just want to make sure that it is putting you in that correct position and not too much lordosis. So that would just be my only concern. I want to make sure on that. So Neha Chudauri, I believe that might be how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong, sweetie. I want to ask a lot of things, but don't have an earphone, and there is no caption. That is such a bummer because I would love to hear your questions and to ask them. So if you can email me them, feel free to email me at theposturespecialist@gmail.com. theposturespecialist@gmail.com. I have my phone here. So I will be looking to see if you guys are messaging me any questions. Okay. You can also go to my website at theposturespecialist.squarespace.com. I know that's a mouthful. But I have a request form on there to contact me, and you can put your questions in there as well, and it will send it to me. So those are a couple of different ways that you guys can send me questions. And you can, after I get done with my live stream here, I will be publishing it. So then you guys can watch this on your own time. So know that even for people who aren't able to make it here today, like the people that had asked the questions beforehand, They weren't able to make it here today. So they'll be able to watch this live stream, in the weeks, months, and years down the road. So that's gonna work out really well for everybody. So hopefully Neha will be able to message me somehow, and we'll be able to try and figure out how to hook up. Sumya Kanaje. I don't know, Sumya, if I think I might have botched up your name. I'm so sorry. Can you please suggest some spine lengthening exercises so that it stays at the right place? That is a great question. So the best spine lengthening exercise to start with, right? Because everybody's body is going to be a little bit different. So I deal with both people who are, oh, thank you, Makaram. Great. Okay, so let me come back to you about my logo. So spine lengthening, I work with people who are both, fit and well, and people who are in chronic pain and have injuries. So when I am helping people to correct their posture and to have a healthy spine, I'm taking both people into consideration. There are a lot of exercises out there. There's tons of personal trainers, physical therapists, so on and so forth, and they are putting lots of exercises and stretches out there on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and not all of those are good for everybody. Everybody's body is different. So my focus is on making sure that nobody gets injured when I'm helping them. So that's my number one thought when I'm trying to put something together. So I don't know what your body, I don't know where your body is in terms of the fitness spectrum. I don't know if you have any chronic pain. I don't know if you have any injuries. But when it comes to lengthening the spine, if we have, say, for example, say you have a herniation or you have a disc bulge or you have, facet hypertrophy, you have some arthritis in your spine, or say, for example, you're 50 plus and you aren't the best, you don't have the best fitness level. The spine lengthening stretches and exercises that I'm going to recommend would be very different than for somebody who is in great shape, somebody who doesn't have any spine issues, somebody who doesn't have any arthritis, somebody who is younger, okay? So it is important to make sure that I have enough information to recommend the correct exercises. That's why I really like working with people individually, because everything is so designed specifically for each person. And it really is lovely. When you get the right fit, it's awesome. You feel great. You have amazing results. And that's the way it should be. But with that said, I want you to start with, you're welcome. I want you to start with the 3-lock mountain. If you can really, really focus on having a line, a string from the top of your head through the base of your sacrum, that tailbone, and really lengthen up in all of your movements. So starting with sitting, and really get into that 3-lock mountain. Get those 3 locks down. If you can get those 3 locks down and really lengthen through from top to bottom in everything that you do, standing, sitting, taking a shower, grocery shopping, cleaning your house, all of the basics. I guarantee you right now, I guarantee you in a year, you are going to be taller. In a year, you are going to be straighter. In 6 months, you're going to feel stronger in your spine. I absolutely, hands down, guarantee it. The 3-lock mountain is the best and safest for everybody, if I'm going to recommend something for everybody, exercise and stretch that you can be doing to correct your postural discrepancies, to help straighten that spine and help you to feel stronger in the whole kinetic chain. Now, with that said, if you're somebody who has something like scoliosis, okay, so I have a client and a student and they have scoliosis. Is it going to straighten that curvature? That is a postural dysfunction that for some people, and probably a lot of people, is not going to perfectly realign. Okay, so really depending upon what age somebody comes to me at, will depend upon how much work needs to be done and how much correction needs to be done for that person. Some people need to wear a posture corrector. Some people need to also wear a lumbar support to help them to make some of those more drastic postural dysfunctions. So it really, really depends upon what you're able to do, what your work is, what your stress load is, what your age is, what your fitness level is. All of that really does, honestly, it makes a difference. If you can only practice the 3-lock mountain for 5 minutes a day, I want you to think about how quickly your body is going to adapt and strengthen into that good posture. I just think about it and try to figure out whether or not that is an adequate amount of time to practice that lengthening exercise and stretch for your spine. And I also want you guys to really try to keep in mind that when the spine is compressed and it is curved in various ways, that those muscles are tight. It's the same as having a tight shoulder, having tight legs or tight calves, okay? Having tightness in the back and the ribs. So we have in our ribs, we have little muscles that are in between the ribs. Those are our intercostal muscles. The ribs go to a bunch of those vertebrae, right? So as the ribs are compressed, so we think about our breathing as an example. If you have a short breath, those intercostals are not going to stretch. So that diaphragm lock is really, really important, even the postural breath work. So I have a video on postural breath work that is absolutely amazing. It really is. Talk about a spinal lengthening exercise. If you can practice, Sumya, if you can practice the postural breath work, that is going to micro stretch those intercostal muscles. And all of the attachments to those vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, are going to start to lengthen. And that is going to open up and straighten your vertebrae. Does that make sense? So these micro stretches and micro exercises, it's micro fitness. It's part of my bias. It's part of the training that I teach. I think personally is a huge part of posture correction. And when we can practice the core exercises and stretches that we need to, that's at our center line, the muscles and attachments, the closest to our kinetic chain at the very center core, the more that we can lengthen at this deep center line, the more long-term and drastic changes you are going to make. So big, long stretches, if I'm extending way up in a lengthened posture here, will that help? Yes. But is that something that you're going to do is that something that you can do for an hour a day? No, we're not going to be in this position for an hour a day. But we can be in the 3-lock mountain for an hour a day or more. So that is going to be your best hands down exercise and stretch that you can do to help lengthen your spine in addition to that postural breath work. Okay. Additional stuff I address in my classes. There's the wall exercise that I have a video on that is also really, really good for lengthening the spine. I have a few other videos. I have one on the foam roller that I think is really good for lengthening the spine and also correcting posture. You can check that one out. I will try to put some of those links in the description box here so that you can access that. Okay, Sumya, I hope that was helpful for you. I had a video summarized posture corrector product. Is a myth I was going to buy, but after watching it, I decided not to. Oh, okay. So I had a follow-up video on that. I had a few follow-up videos on that because the posture correctors that I tried in that particular video, I was not sold on them. I just did not think that they were worth wasting money on. I really just thought they were a waste of money. So I had a viewer message me and told me that she really liked this one particular posture corrector and that she saw some differences in her posture. So I went ahead and tried it. So that would be this posture corrector. This is the Girari. So I tried this for 30 days and ended up doing a product review video on it. So I added that to my videos if you want to check that out. And then I also did an additional video on the anatomy of the perfect posture corrector. So if you're going to use a posture corrector, this is the one that I recommend. I have it on my website, and I also have a link to it on the video that I did the product review on. And oh yeah. Sorry about the logo thing. Hold on. Yeah, so you can check that out. So my logo is the 3-lock mountain. Those are the 3 locks going down, and then the mountains, and it's your spine and your sacrum, right? The spine and the iliac crest and the actual sacrum. So it is the 3-lock mountain. That's just what I came up with, and that's my baby. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. Good. Yes, the stability ball does migrate if it's not stabilized. But it is great in terms of posture work. I have to say, in making some corrections through the hips, when we have a muscular imbalance issue, when I'm working with clients individually, I will use the stability ball as an advanced platform to help to balance out muscular imbalances, to create that bilateral equality in the muscular development, to help to correct postural discrepancies and dysfunctions in the hips. So having a stability ball that is not in the donut and having that unstable surface can be really, really beneficial as an advanced exercise for correcting some postural discrepancies. Okay. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me just make sure I have everybody. Okay. You are welcome. Thank you so much, Macbeth. Yes, the spine and the pelvic bone. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good. I'm glad that you were able to see that because I didn't know if other people would pick up on it. But yeah, it's a really cool design. I really love it. You are welcome. Take care. Okay. So if other people have questions, I think that I have gone through all the ones that are here so far. If other people have questions, go ahead and type them in. And I am going to just continue on. Whatever questions I don't get to, you guys, I will go ahead and I'll just do new videos on them, or I'll have another Q&A time. So do posture correctors correct your posture? So I have addressed this in one of my videos, but it is hard. You know, when you have a lot of videos out, it's difficult to try and see through them and figure out what has what in it. So they help to support your shoulders rotating back. So if I put this posture corrector on, okay, I just want you to look and see. If I put this posture corrector on, it's going to help to hold my shoulders back a little bit. It's not going to correct a forward head. It's not going to correct a lower lumbar, extreme lordosis, but it will help with pulling those shoulders back a little bit. Now, if you're somebody who really, really has a curvature of the spine of the upper thoracic area, you have that kyphosis, it's called. If you have a strong kyphosis, that means that the muscles have strengthened into a position, they've locked into that position, and the structure of the spine has also locked into that position. When it is in that position, the shoulders are going to round forward, the muscles are going to strengthen around that posture, and the scapula will likely be winging out, okay? And they will be holding in that position. So when you have a position like that, it's going to be very, very difficult for this posture corrector to change into this position. So the posture corrector is only going to do so much in terms of that. So it's going to depend upon where you're at with your postural dysfunction and the postural discrepancies. What it is really good for is a posture hook. So it's going to be reminding you, because it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. So it is going to remind you, I need to be in good posture. I need to rotate those shoulders back because I don't want to feel the pressure of these pads against my shoulder. If they're really forward like this, you're going to feel a lot of pressure. You might even get some redness. You might get some chafing underneath here. So it's going to remind you to rotate those shoulders back. So as a posture hook, I really, really think that is helpful. Is it going to correct your posture? I don't think so. I'm not a massive believer in that thinking. So, but it is going to help you to pull them back a little bit, and it's going to be a great posture hook. And in that, it's going to help you to exercise the right muscles and make those postural changes yourself. The one thing that I want you to remember with a posture corrector is that it's not exercising your muscles. And we need the muscles to be exercised and stretched to change the structure and to then control the structure and re-educate it. So we want the muscles to control the structure. We don't want the structure to control the muscles. So that's my bias. That's what I teach. And that's the premise that I come from. And the posture corrector does not exercise your muscles. And it doesn't necessarily, well, it stretches the pecs a little bit. It is going to stretch, do some micro stretching here. So I will give it that, absolutely. I really like the posture corrector, this particular one. I think that it does help for a lot of people, but it's not going to correct your posture. Okay, so let's see here. Can I work out in a posture corrector? I am doing a video on this, and I will be publishing this in the next week or two. But the simple answer is yes. I think that this particular posture corrector can be used comfortably in pretty much any kind of exercise. So I would encourage that. You are welcome on the honest review. When I do product review videos, you guys, this is important. I have a lot of companies that reach out to me to review their products and do videos on their products. And I'm sure that other YouTuber creators and so forth do get that as well. And I will not promote any kind of a product that I don't like. And in addition to that, I'm really picky about making sure that anybody that would be purchasing something that I recommend is getting good customer service. So I used to be in the customer service business many years ago. I mean, I'm in the customer service business now, but differently. I was in sales, and I also shopped for people. So it was important for me to provide excellent customer service. And I know what it's like to not have excellent customer service and to be given the runaround all the time. And it is no fun. It's really frustrating. It's stressful. And then that impacts our posture. And that's a big no-no for me. And so I need to make sure that whatever I am suggesting for you, that it is also going to be supporting your best posture. I don't want you stressed. I don't want you getting the runaround. I don't want you not having a good product. And I don't want you having something that is not going to work. So that's where I come from. My reviews, therefore, are honest from my perspective. And I really, really appreciate my viewers' response and input and feedback. So if there is a product that you like, that you want me to try, definitely let me know. I want to know about it. I want to hear about it. There was somebody from the Philippines, because I have a following in the Philippines, who had sent me a message about a topical for pain relief. And I'd never heard of it. I've never used it, but it's not something that is really known here in the States. And so I was able to look it up and check it out. And I believe that I suggested it in one of my videos on topicals, but it wasn't something that I actually used. So it wasn't something I could do an actual review on. But I did mention that somebody had recommended that particular product to me. So yeah, if there's something that you guys find that you like better than what I'm suggesting, I want to know about it. Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, I will give you honest reviews, and I'm not going to be doing, I struggle with this, but I don't think that at this time, I don't want to muddy up my video, my cues, my videos for you guys to choose from with a bunch of products that I don't like. So I know there are a lot of products that I could actually review out there and then say, yeah, I really don't like this. But gosh, I think that that's just a lot of videos that would take up my time. And there's so many other videos that I could really be doing that I think would be super, super helpful and productive for you. So, I mean, if you want me to do videos on products that whether I like them or not, let me know. And I would be open to considering something like that. But at this point, I really just want to be focusing on things that are going to be productive for you and that you can be implementing, like, now to help you. Are there any exercises for short hamstrings so that they grow long? Okay. Yeah. So that's a really good question. One, you really want to be lengthening through them. So you're going to, if you have a muscle that's short in the back, it means that you have a disengaged muscle in the front, so the opposite to it. And you want to then be strengthening then your quads. When you strengthen your quads, that's going to help to kind of de-tense, de-emphasize, and disengage a little bit of those hamstrings. It's going to help them to relax a little bit. So that's one way to counter where you have a shortening of one area of the body, like the back of the body, and to help it with the other side. So with that premise, we think front helps back, back helps front, top helps bottom, bottom helps top, inside, outside, so forth, left and right, right to left. So we want to be thinking about the areas of our body that's going to be countering the other and supporting it to do what we want it to do. Hamstring lengthening stretches, anything where the leg is going to be straight. Okay, so for example, if you are just straight over like a table, okay, pressing the hips back and lengthening through very gently, forward and back. This is going to help just to gently this is going to help to gently lengthen those hamstrings, just very, very gently. You're staying in your 3-lock mountain. You're moving forward and back, okay? So this would be if you were in a standing position. If you're in a seated position and you want to stretch those hamstrings, I'm going to bring you down just a little bit. I have my notes here. What you're going to want to do, and this is a posture chair that I will be doing a review on at some point. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the foot out, straight down, and then very gently in your 3-lock mountain, lengthening forward and then back. And that's going to help to stretch through that hamstring, forward and back. Now, there are a lot of stretches, just like the exercises. Everybody's body is a little bit different. So remember, there are a lot of different kinds of stretches and exercises that we can be doing. But I would, just to be safe, I would have you working on your quads to strengthen your quads. I would have you do some just very gentle leaning forward and back with a straight leg. And then the other thing that I would recommend is if you are sitting with your feet way back or under your chair, this is constantly going to be shortening the hamstrings. So I want you to consider your sitting posture and whether or not your seated posture is contributing to your shortened hamstring muscles. Does that make sense? Oh, good, good, good. You can already feel the stretch. Good. Yeah, so that is something that you want to practice. And remember to stay in your 3-lock mountain so that you are maximizing and isolating all that micro stretching. Okay, and that's going to also help your posture. Really, really good questions, you guys. Really, really good questions. So, and also, you know, if you have rounded shoulders while you're stretching and exercising, working out, yes, wearing a posture corrector can be helpful. Okay, and I will go more into detail on that when I do that video. Okay, so I already talked about this a little bit earlier, but somebody asked a question: what is the difference between a posture corrector versus a lumbar brace? You know, in terms of correcting posture. So we have the posture corrector. So this posture corrector really is just for this whole upper area here. So not for forward head, but it's for the rounded shoulders, this forward shoulder, and the kyphosis, where the thoracic spine, so mid here up here to the cervical spine, is rounded. It's rounded, curved. So this posture corrector helps to make some kinds of changes and corrections to the thoracic spine. The lumbar support, can you guess what that's for? So the lumbar support is for the low back, the lumbar area. So I do have a video on this particular lumbar support. This is the one that I recommend because I absolutely love it. And I've tried many. So I have a disability in my low back, 19% disability rating in my low back lumbar area. And it is, I have used many lumbar supports. So this here comes around the low back and it's going to support this whole low back area. Okay, so when you're moving around, you're not really going to be able to be in, have your low back overarched. It's going to pull you into a nice straight posture. Is it going to exercise your muscles? No, it's not going to exercise your muscles. No brace is going to exercise your muscles unless you engage them yourself. A brace cannot activate your muscles. We have to activate our muscles. We have to hold our muscles into a posture, in a position, in order for those muscles to actually exercise. I can have this posture brace on and I can just slump and exercise no muscles whatsoever, aside from the position that I'm actually in. And that will then train my structure to be in that posture, okay? But if I want to be in an upright position, this will be a good posture hook. That is the difference between a lumbar brace and a posture corrector. Okay, and if you want to know more about one or the other, check out those videos because I don't want to take up too much of my live stream time to go over those. We have actually quite a few more questions. Okay, do I need both to correct my posture? If you have a kyphosis, upper spine, if you have kyphosis and the lordosis, which is a curvature, too much of a curvature on the lower spine, that lower lumbar, yes, you'll want to have both to make some of those corrections to help you to be in good posture. Will everybody need to wear both? No, no. Some people might only need one. Some people might only need to do the 3-lock mountain and some other exercises to correct their posture, and that's it. There are some people who don't need the posture brace at all. When I was working with a posture specialist, when I had gotten injured many years ago, I used the lumbar brace, and that's what I used to help correct my posture. And the exercises and stretches that he gave to me. But that is what I used back then. I've also since used a tennis ball for the acupoint release technique, and I have a video on using a tennis ball for posture correction in like the car and when we're sitting. I'm going to leave that link for you guys because I think that that's a really good video. And I think that you will get a little bit from that. So I will put that link in the description box down below. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Why does my back hurt when I am trying to be in good posture? Okay. That's a really good question. I know that there are a lot of people who have a lot of pain and discomfort when they're practicing good posture. So why is that? Well, remember, we are trying to retrain the muscles to correct the structure. And in order to do that, we have to stretch and exercise the muscles. So when we're in good posture, we are literally exercising all the time. However long we are practicing the 3-lock mountain, you are going to be exercising those muscles. So when we exercise, we get sore. When we exercise our muscles, they get sore. That's just the way it goes. So you are likely, if you're not practicing a pelvic lock, you're not engaging those abdominal muscles, that transverse abdominis muscle, the rectus abdominis, the obliques, right? If you're not used to using those muscles to help to support your back muscles, if you're not used to the intercostal muscles, which probably, like, I would say 99% of people don't even know what the intercostal muscles are. So you're likely not stretching or exercising those muscles. As an example, you are going to be sore. That's just the way it goes. So I tell people 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months is your window. And you will find after 3 to 6 weeks, every 3 to 6 weeks, our body adapts to something that we do consistently. So if you are practicing your 3-lock mountain consistently, 3 to 6 weeks, you're going to go up a step. Continue to practice that and everything else that you're doing. You're going to increase in your strength and your muscular endurance. Muscular endurance is what kind of we're looking for here in addition to strength, because we need those muscles to not get tired. Then that will take away that soreness. Then you'll go up another step. And you just keep practicing it until you get up to that point where you can be in a 3-lock mountain all the time and really not get sore. Okay. So that, I hope that is helpful for that question. Thank you guys for asking such good questions. Okay. So I think I sort of answered this a little bit earlier, but somebody asked, are there any particular corrective exercises that will correct everyone's posture? So like I said earlier, I don't have kind of like a standardized way of thinking. I think very holistically, and it is my bias, very strong bias, that everybody's body is different. Everybody has different issues. Everybody has a different story. Everybody just has a different body. And so though there might be similar exercises that will be effective for a lot of people. So an example would be like the 3-lock mountain. Maybe the wall exercise would be useful for everybody. The V-back exercise that I have in this one video that I talk about, the V-back exercise with the resistance band. Really, really good for opening up the front of the body, correcting the shoulders, rotating forward, and helping to strengthen the rhomboids, the upper back. So that particular exercise is an exercise that I pretty much give to everybody who can use a resistance band. Not everybody can use a resistance band, but that would be something that I would give to a lot of people. I do have a video called My Daily Routine to Optimize Your Shoulders and Posture. I think that would be really, really good for a lot of people. It has movement in it. And I think it's very, very important that we move our body while we're thinking about that 3-lock mountain and maintaining good posture, that neutral posture spine. So, because we're moving bodies and we need to be able to be in good posture while we move. So not just in a seated position, being in good posture. We need to be able to have good posture and line up our kinetic chain while we're walking, while we're, cleaning house, while we're shopping, whatever it is we're doing. We need to be able to move our body and still maintain a conscious, intentional 3-lock mountain. Okay, so that particular video, I'll put that in the link for you guys. And then my 4-way seated core strength routine. That is something that I would recommend for everybody. You're practicing your 3-lock mountain and you're doing core work. So that is something that I think would be really, really useful for a lot of people, most people, pretty much everybody. And then the pinkies at the side seam of the pants. So if you're standing, and you have your pinkies at the side seam of the pants, this is going to help to rotate those shoulders back. And I think that, honestly, I think that that's just a good exercise for everybody to do. It's not like an exercise, but for a lot of people, it really is actually kind of an exercise. So yeah, I think that that would be a good one. Okay. Answer to it is 3-lock mountain. Yeah. I mean, the 3-lock mountain really is, it really is great for everybody. But there are a few. There are definitely a few that I think would be useful. Okay, I know I've had some really, really good questions, you guys. I have just a couple more, so I want to see if I can get to them. So I'm in chronic pain all the time. I've tried everything and nothing helps. Why won't it go away, and what can I do? So as a pain management therapist, I have been working to help people in this area from a holistic perspective. So it's not that I am against medications, surgery, and injections. That's not the case. But if I can help people to empower themselves without having to get injections, surgery, and be on, narcotics, that's what I'm going to do. So I do have a master's degree in holistic health education. So that was really my bend, and kind of everything stems from that. So everything that I do, whether it's acupressure, all my continued education, personal training, corrective exercise, all that stuff, counseling, it kind of stems from that, really seeing a person as a holistic mind, body, spirit, and optimizing just that perspective as much as I possibly can. So a holistic perspective, to answer that, is there are a number of things that you can do. A lot you probably have done already. Why won't it go away? Let me answer that first. So there is a difference between acute pain and chronic pain. And I've already done a video on this in the Turning the Tables on Chronic Pain. I talk about this in depth. And chronic pain is an abnormal response of the nervous system. Doctors still don't know. I mean, I did my master's thesis on this in 2000. And at that point, doctors had no idea how to deal with chronic pain. They didn't understand why it wouldn't resolve. They didn't understand why the gate didn't close. They didn't understand why there were constant messages going out of the brainstem. They just didn't understand it. And so therefore, there was nothing they could do to block it. They couldn't go in and change it. And so I feel bad for them in many ways, because they want to help people so much. I know their heart is in it to help people, but with chronic pain, it's just an abnormality of the nervous system. So I go into it a little bit more in that video. And like I said, I will have that link for you guys so that you can check it out, Turning the Tables on Chronic Pain. I did my master's thesis on it. So I have that. If you guys want a copy of that, just let me know and I'll figure something out. But you want to counter those messages that are being sent out constantly every few minutes. The messages are being sent out. So there's nothing you can do about that. But you can counter it with counter pain strategies more often than those messages are going out. So if the messages are going out every 4 minutes, you want to be implementing counter pain strategies every 3.5 to 3 minutes. When you do this over a period of time, so the research that I did on it for myself, I was my own guinea pig. It took me 7 to 9 years at that point with the chronic pain that I was dealing with, which was pretty severe. So I know that it's possible to break the cycle. Does it completely get rid of the pain? For a lot of people, it does. For some people, it does not. But it sure puts a dent in it. It sure puts a dent in it and can help you to increase your function. So here are a few tips. I know this isn't like a regular video, so I'm just going to throw these down. I'm sure you've already done a bunch of these, but you can keep a pain journal. You need to know what increases and decreases your pain. You need to completely take out, if you can, what exacerbates the symptoms. You need to do more of what decreases and reduces the pain. You need to build up your counter pain strategy toolbox. And I have some suggestions in the counter pain strategy playlist for you. And you need to start building your recovery / wellness team. So you need to make sure you have the right people helping you with that. You need to be patient and never give up. Stay positive. Do not isolate yourself, because when we're in chronic pain, right, we're a burden to others. Everybody has to consider us. We have to make adjustments to the schedule. We have to make adjustments to whatever it is that we're doing. Everybody has to accommodate us. So there's a lot of burden that comes to it. And as a result, a lot of chronic pain sufferers end up wanting to isolate themselves. I do have a video for caretakers of chronic pain that I think would be useful. So if you are a chronic pain sufferer and you have somebody in your life that just does not understand what you're going through, I highly recommend that you suggest they watch this video. And I'll put that one in the description box down below, in addition to the turning the tables on chronic pain. Okay. And take good care of yourself. Keep watching my videos and practice the 3-lock mountain. So with that, the other question was, what are the best counter pain strategies? Okay, so there are, I have 2 videos. This is my last question that I'm going to be answering today, unless somebody else ends up having a burning question. But there are a lot of counter pain strategies. Okay. I have 2 videos that have some basic counter pain strategies, but on my Instagram account, which is at The Posture Specialist, I have a post that has a list of a number of different counter pain strategies. Okay, so I know that you can't really see this, but this is something that has just a bunch of counter pain strategies that you can look at. And what I will do is I will leave the link to that post in the description box down below, so that you guys can access that. Okay. Okay, so this, I'm really actually pretty surprised that this went as long as it did. I'm very, very thankful for all of your questions and participation, for sticking it out. Mukarram, you are just a rock. You are just so amazing. I hope all of these have been helpful for you. If you have additional questions, you can leave them in the comments. And feel free to message me. And I will see you guys in one of the next videos. Okay, so happy posturing and take care.